Hello, reporter room investigators. Come on in, come on in. We have a great show planned for you guys, lots of new information, and we're going to be going through some very interesting topics. Um, so please come on in and join me today. We're going to be talking about the Bryan Kohberger case. Today, we're going to be talking about the Yik Yak warrant, Maddie Mogan, and Detective Mowery. We're going to discuss how this particular warrant could implicate or exonerate Bryan Kohberger. We're going to talk about who was really running the Papa Roger and inside looking accounts. Was this a hoaxer? Was this a perpetrator? And then the real reason that law enforcement got a warrant for TikTok. And we will be discussing the WSU lab where students in the program where Bryan Kohberger was teaching in the criminology program could access a lab that had body cam footage to 5 different police departments. Was the perpetrator using this body cam footage to select victims? And finally, we're going to talk about, if we have time, I don't know if we're going to get to this part, peeping Toms and how that relates. So my name is Jessica Davies. I'm an investigative journalist, and my job is to investigate crimes, crime scenes, and potential suspects, and share with you how to do the same thing. If you have not subscribed to Reporter Room, please do. It's free and it helps me out so much. And I can't get to 40,000 subscribers without your help. And everything I'm sharing with you is my opinion. So please don't send any negativity to anyone, and know that Bryan Kohberger is innocent until proven guilty. I do have to talk about this case in terms of him because the warrants and the motions and the rulings are all related to the trial, which is happening. Jury selection begins July 30th of this year. So I do have to talk about this case in terms of him, but he is innocent until proven guilty. So I want to just thank our subscribers and our channel members. Let me take this down. While people are coming in, this will give people a minute to come in. Thank you to our producers and Jazz, Sasha Angel, Mikey M, George, Brown, and Pepper. And thank you to our channel members for allowing me to be able to cover this live stream. If you would like to have your name appear just like this in all of my videos and live streams, just hit the join button, which is next to the subscribe button. Now, subscribing is free, and I think joining is just a couple of dollars. And we are going to be doing a members only live stream after the Sebastian Rogers live stream, which will be directly after this. And thank you so much. This is a super thanks and coffee gratitude. Thank you so much to each and every one of you. I really appreciate it. And thank you for your gifted memberships, and Jazz and Pepper. Really appreciate all of you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I have a lot to, let me see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I did a video, 8 things for you guys today. So we're going to start off talking about the Yik Yak warrant. We're going to talk about the detective Mowery and also Maddie Mogan. So let me pull that up for you guys to start. Make sure we're all looking at the same thing. Let me move myself out of the way. Okay. All right. So you guys can see that. So we are going to go to, these are all the warrants related to Yik Yak. And you can see there's multiple warrants on this. I just want to show you the receipts, a matter of the application for a search warrant, Yik Yak. So there's order to seal and redact. And remember that these orders, the evidence has been sealed to protect Bryan Kohberger's right to a fair trial. And it was requested to be sealed by Ann Taylor, who is representing Bryan Kohberger. So we're going to go down to the last page. Let me grab that. Okay, so this search warrant this was back in the Latah County, and this is very, very interesting warrant. And I'm going to tell you why in just a second, so please stay with me. But Detective Lawrence Mowery, he is the peace officer that is authorized to enforce or assist in enforcing any law in the state of Idaho. So it says Detective Mowery, Detective Lawrence Mowery, having given me proof upon oath this day, showing probable cause, establishing grounds for issuing a search warrant, and probable cause to believe there is information related to the investigation of doing away with, I'm watching my words in case you have little ones in the room, Madison Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, Xander Kernodle, and or Ethan Chapin at the 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, on Yik Yak account of Bryan Kohberger. So Bryan Kohberger did have a Yik Yak account. And then they gave out identifiers, and these are redacted. So they gave out addresses and a phone number and an IMEI. So generated between, so they have just a time frame. They can't just do it forever. Generated on or between June 1st of 2022. So that would be in the months leading up to the crimes. They want the unique user ID of the account that is assigned by Yik Yak. And I'm going to explain why this is important in just a second, but I just need to set the table for you guys. B, registration update and time for the accounts. C, registration IP address of the accounts. E, current usernames and tag numbers. F, if the users are paid subscribers, and any limited billing information. Ooh. Sorry about that. G, IP addresses and session start timestamps for the last 90 days. And then H, messages and attachments stored, whether it's in a server or a direct message above regarding the above, located in or upon the following premises, Yik Yak, and then it gives the address. And then it says, quote, you are commanded to search the above described premises for the property described, to seize if it is found, and promptly bring it before the court above named. This warrant shall be executed within 7 days of the issuance and is authorized for daytime service only, pursuant to Idaho Criminal Rule 41, daytime meaning the hours of 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, under the following directions. Yik Yak shall disclose the described property and information within 14 days of the issuance. Okay, so I set the table, and you guys are like, what the heck is Yik Yak? So I'm just going to quickly share what it is, and then we're going to talk about how this applies to Bryan Kohberger, to Maddie Mogen, and to this case. So this is Yik Yak. Basically what it is it's a social media site. Now, it was taken down for a couple of years due to bullying and hate speech, but it's back up and going. At least it was at the times of the crime. It looks like it's still going today. So how does this apply to Bryan Kohberger? Let me grab that. Okay. So this is, my source is Mix 106. So basically, let me make sure you were all looking at the same thing. Let me move myself. I'm blocking you guys. Okay. So come on in, guys. We're talking about Yik Yak, and will this exonerate or will this implicate Bryan Kohberger? So what is Yik Yak, and what the heck can this do? Okay. So, so basically, Yik Yak is an app. It's centered around users. Now you connect, you're anonymous while you're using this, but you can connect with everyone within a 5-mile radius of where you are. So according to the court records, Bryan Kohberger used the app, and law enforcement has the warrant, which I just showed you the receipts on that. So why would Bryan Kohberger be interested in this particular app? And will it link him to Maddie Mogen, who I believe was the target in this attack? So how Yik Yak works is anyone can comment and start a dialogue. This is according to the app's page. Anybody can comment or start a dialogue. So you don't have to be following each other to start a dialogue. So or drop a comment. All you have to do is comment on a post. So was he using this site, Yik Yak, to surveil victims, or was someone else? Because if someone else was using it and following the victims around, this could implicate somebody else and exonerate Bryan Kohberger. However, if law enforcement is able to show that Bryan Kohberger was using this app, and again, he's innocent until proven guilty, to surveil his victims and be within a 5-mile radius, then this could implicate him, and it could line up with the cell phone pings. I think what law enforcement is trying to do is line up those cell phone pings with other apps, which is why we saw the warrant for the Strava app, which I've already covered on a previous live stream, the Snapchat Snap Map app, which I also covered on another live stream. So Yik Yak's fine print says the service can disclose to law enforcement the user's internet protocol address and GPS coordinates, along with details about the phone or tablet and the date and time for each message. To help authenticate its customers, the service requires each user to provide a phone number to sign up. So he would have had to have provided a phone number, which is how law enforcement was able to determine that he was using this particular site. So Yik Yak does not collect, though, your names, email addresses, or other private information, but it does record geolocation and app usage. And remember, I told you, we're going to talk about Papa Roger and inside looking in just a second. But remember, I told you how important I thought that geofencing was going to be in this crime. So let's go through this together. So what we're, I think now the prosecution doesn't have to show a motive in this case, but I think the juries do like to see a motive. So we know that law enforcement requested warrants, and at the end, remind me, and I will tell you all of the warrants that were put out in this case for bank accounts, dating apps. So Match Group, which is Match.com, and Tinder were both apps I haven't even started digging into, and several social media apps. And among those, this one stands out among the rest because of how close you have to be to interact with other platform users. So Yik Yak, according to their site, is an app that's centered around users, quote, anonymously connecting with everyone within 5 miles. And it's really popular on college campuses. So it's an interesting concept for an app. And according to the court records, BK used the app, and investigators are looking into why. Why was he using this app? So let's take a look at what we know about the app Yik Yak and why Bryan Kohberger might have been using this. Well, apparently, according to law enforcement, they believe he was. That's why they got the thing. So first of all, there's that 5-mile radius. So say you wanted to follow people and know where they were, but you did not want to stalk them. Yik Yak allows you to chat with people within a 5-mile radius. So all you need to do is download the page in the App Store. You need a valid phone number here in the United States. And once you're signed up, you can chat with and post to anybody in a 5-mile radius. You can post anonymously. So inside the app, your identity is a secret. This makes it fun and easy to jump into conversations without societal labels. Everyone is equal on Yik Yak. That's true. But it can also be kind of creepy that anybody can interact with you and you don't know who you're talking to. You have no idea who's commenting. So posts can be voted up or down, and popular posts make it onto what's called the hot feed, where trending posts populate. The group you reach is considered your herd. So that's who is in your herd? Everyone that's in a 5-mile radius of you. So if he parked at the University of Idaho campus, he would be able to chat with anybody in a 5-mile radius of that campus. If he was parked outside the 1122 King Road house, and we know that phone ping shows that he was visited the crime scene 11 times leading up to the crimes, and then again the morning of the crimes. Will this app help link up the cell phone pings? I think between this and the Strava app and the Snapchat Snap Map, they are really trying to link him and those cell phone pings to these apps. So your feed, because it has a location tracking on it, right? Your feed is a public forum. Anyone can comment or start a dialogue according to the app's page. It begins with the question. It begs the question that if BK is found guilty, was he stalking the victims on the app? Now, to be clear, stalking doesn't legally apply in this case. In some states, it would be called stalking. But in the state of Idaho, for it to qualify as stalking, the victims have to feel harassed or threatened in some way. So they have to know you exist. And in my opinion, I don't think the victims knew that Bryan Kohberger existed. So it's important to note that this app allows you to stay anonymous. So that's not just creepy for this case. That's just creepy in general. This means that Kohberger is proven to be the criminal and to be the crimer in this case. I'm watching my words. That's the M word, and did stalk the victim using the app Yik Yak. It had to be a coincidence that there weren't that many people in the herd. So if he is commenting and talking to these victims on Yik Yak, this would be a way to connect BK to the victims. And I think that would be the other, um, you know, the other thing that law enforcement is trying to do. They want to line up the cell phone pings with any of these geo-fencing, geo-tracking apps. And then they also want to, and that's why I think the Bluetooth app is so critical too. And I also talked about blue snarfing last week. But this Yik Yak is also very, very interesting to see that Detective Mowry wanted this. So what else was taken from BK? His Amazon Fire Stick with a cord and plug. Woo. And I think I already went through these, so I'm not going to go into these too much. We have Marshall receipts. If you'd like me to make a video on that, let me know. But I just want to dig in. I have so much to unpack here. So we're going to talk about Papa Roger next. And I'm curious what you guys think about the Yik Yak. Uh, and if you think that law enforcement is trying to use geofencing and geo-tracking to line up the cell phone pings with Bryan Kohberger and link him, and also show links between Bryan Kohberger and these victims. Again, he is innocent until proven guilty. Please don't hate the messenger. I am just bringing you all the information so you guys can make up your own mind. So we're going to talk about Papa Roger next. I did make this for you, so let me take this down and put this up. Okay. So let me back this up a little bit. All right, let's talk about Papa Roger. So was Bryan Kohberger hiding from for us right in plain sight? I mean, was he right there the whole time interacting with us on social media? So in the or was Papa Roger and Inside Looking, were these just hoaxsters using information that they were able to get maybe from law enforcement to just trick us into thinking that we were in, that this person knew, or was this just kind of a know-it-all? But the interesting thing is that both of these accounts disappeared right after Bryan Kohberger was arrested. They were taken down, presumably by law enforcement. But so Papa Rogers, if you don't know, was a handle that was used by a social media user on Facebook. Now, this user speculated, in detail about the Idaho crimes before Bryan Kohberger was caught. And some of the things that this person told us were just like on the nose. Now there was a couple things that were off. Now people have said, oh, he realized he might get caught and was just trying to mislead law enforcement. But it could also be that it wasn't him. But according to Newsweek, and let me grab that for you, and then I have the video here, but let me grab that. All right, let me share this one. Hold on one second. Let me grab the Newsweek article. Make sure we're all looking at it. Okay, so my source on this is Newsweek. So according to Newsweek, a Facebook user going by the name of Papa Rogers and a Reddit post person went by the handle Inside Looking. And we're going to go through what some of those posts were, but they appear to have detailed knowledge of the case and have made claims that later turned out to be true. So this has led to a lot of speculation that, and just full disclosure, I did not interact with Inside Looking on Reddit, but I was in the same Facebook group with Papa Roger on at that time. So we were all in the same Facebook group. So were we interacting with Bryan Kohberger, or was this just a hoaxer? So the name of the group that we were all in was the University of Idaho Murders Case Discussion Facebook group. I'm sorry I said the M word. I'm sorry, because I'm trying not to say that. And so this account was removed after he posted some really creepy stuff. So he was removed by the admin of the group. But let's go through some of the stuff that he posted, and let me grab this video. Okay. So you can see some of the stuff that he posted is, actually kind of spot on. He said, quote, the K-I-L, Illers with a K, is not in the victim's immediate circle. Okay, if this, now BK is innocent until proven guilty, but if this, pans out to be true and he is convicted, that would be true. The other thing he posted is the K is not a student. This is also true. Wasn't a student at the University of Idaho, and he was a teaching assistant at Washington State University and a student in the PhD program at Washington State, but not in Idaho. So I don't know. What do you guys think? The other post that he put was, can somebody post actual evidence showing where the victims, I'm going to watch my words here, were found? And then he said, I know this isn't popular, but I think this is where the victims were found. So let's look at the next one. Okay. Regardless of what has been released, I believe this is an S-motivated crime. Now, I don't know about this. I do think that the perpetrator would have been caught off guard having Maddie and Kaylee in the same room. So maybe it was motivated by that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Just watch your words if you're dropping me a comment, because if you use the S word, you'll be caught in the filter. Did the K, the Iller, drive through, the unaliver, drive, walk, or some combination of both to the scene? Well, we know, according to what law enforcement believes, is they believe that he drove to the scene. And then he said, a knife is a very risky weapon if you know you are going to do away, watching my words here, with 4 people. Do we think the K had another weapon, such as a stun gun or... And we do know that he did have a Glock. So some of it to me is, correct, but some of it isn't. So this one says, did the unaliver stop at 4 victims out of exhaustion, convenience, or lack of knowledge? And I believe that it would have been exhaustion, but also a fear, because I just don't think that he went in there planning. I don't know for sure. I could be wrong, but I don't think he went in there planning to do away with 4 people. Then he posted these. He said, let me back this up. Regardless of what's being released, I said that one. I asked about that. And he said, quote, I feel like the white car isn't relevant. And this is where some people said, oh, but he just said that to distract. I don't know. I think that it's, we have to take what he said that wasn't accurate also. And he said, fight me. LA is no closer to solving this than they were 30 days ago. And then he said, Papa Roger is wiped from Facebook. So a couple of other things that he said, let me grab this, is he also said, quote, this was on November 30th. So this is well before the arrest and well before we had all this information. Of the evidence released, the M weapon has been consistent as a large fixed blade knife. This leads me to believe they found the sheath. So that does, this evidence was released prior to the autopsies. So this does make me think that this was really suspicious. Let me just show you the receipts on this. Hold on. I'll put this back up in a second, but let me just put this up so you guys can look at this with me. Okay, so that's my sourcing on this is Newsweek. Okay. And then it said, when police did say they were searching for a bladed weapon, I'm watching my words, it wasn't revealed that officers had found the knife sheath at the crime scene until the probable cause affidavit, which was released on Thursday. So he posted this on November 30th, but we didn't get the probable cause affidavit until January after he was arrested. So I think this is, really, really interesting. I'm curious what you guys think about this. If you think that this is the same person, how did he know this stuff? So next we're going to look at the inside looking. So let me put this back up. And okay, let's look at those. Okay, so it says here, Kay parked behind the house, approached property through the tree line, entered sliding door. Now remember, this is like way before we knew any of the stuff that we know now. Entered the sliding door and left it open. I believe that is what happened also. Committed the M's on alighting and exited through the sliding door. One knife, according to the coroner statement. Time of the crime, watching my words, now this is wrong, 3:20 to 3:40 a.m. according to the car fleeing the scene and a camera on Highway 8, approximately 3:45 a.m. The vehicle left skid marks upon exit. I don't know anything about that. And then people are like responding to this, like due to solving his own crime. And then this one, I guess I should better rephrase that. You seem to have a strong confidence in your speculations. I mean, that was pretty spot on, except for the times. We know the times were between, 4:04 a.m. was the actual time. Let me see. I'm just forwarding this a little bit. Let's go to the next one. Oh, and I told you guys that it was an Acer computer, and you can see number 7. It does say Acer laptop model number N22C2. So I just wanted to, I told you, I promised I would show you the receipts that it was, he didn't have a Apple computer. It was Acer. So I just wanted to show you the receipts on that. So I don't know, you guys. I think it's kind of weird. Let me just read you guys some more. Let me move myself out of the way. And then I'm going to check in with chat. But I do think this whole thing with Papa Roger is kind of crazy. Let's see. Okay. And the inside looking is also kind of crazy. So we know that Bryan had posted on Reddit before, right? Because he did those questions on Reddit. We also know law enforcement got a search warrant for Reddit. So was that related to, and also for Facebook? They got it for Meta and they got it for Reddit. So were these two search warrants for Meta and Reddit related to Papa Rogers and or inside looking? Or was this just a hoaxer that got a certain amount of the things right? I'm really, because one post, I mean, just the fact that he knew how the perpetrator entered and that the patio door was open, I think is very, very interesting. And then inside Reddit's profile picture originally showed a masked man dressed in black holding a flashlight. So law enforcement's never told us whether this was Papa Roger and inside looking, but what we do know is that there are warrants for Meta, which is the parent company of Facebook, and also for Reddit. They have warrants. And so I think this is, very, very interesting. So, I can't say 110% of what, whether he is or isn't, but I'm really curious what you guys think. Let me back up chat and say hello. I don't want to, this is interactive. So come on up and talk to me. And we're going to be talking about, I have a lot to get through. We just did the Yik Yak and Maddie Mogan and Detective Mowry. We're going to talk about the TikTok warrant, and then we're going to deep dive into the WSU lab where students had access to 5 different police department body cams. Was a perpetrator using these cameras to find potential victims? So please stay with me. One other post by Inside Looking that I thought was really interesting was they pointed to the pictures of the van's shoe print that police were investigated. So I thought that was interesting too. The fact that they used a masked person holding a flashlight. So we're going to talk about the TikTok warrant in just a second. So please stay with me. But let me say hello to chat. Thank you so much for joining me. Come on up and talk to me. Thank you to our head mod, Njaz. Really appreciate you. Thank you to all of our mods. Thank you, Mike, for modding today. Thank you for modding today, DM. This is our other head mod, Amelia. Good. She's a Kiwi, so she's on the other side of the world. So good morning to you and good evening to everyone else. Thank you for being with us today. This is our other head mod. This is Brother Mike. And if you come to our Facebook group, you'll see all of us in there together. Kathleen is here. Welcome, Kathleen. Pen Jam. Oh, we're going to have a great live stream. Hi. Thank you for modding today, Veronica. Yeah, Njaz is asking to please give this a thumbs up on your way in. Okay. No worries, Amelia. I know you're working. I know you're on an opposite time from us. Hi, Florence. Thank you so much for being a channel member. Sujoy is here. Tammy is here. Come on in, guys. Bring your questions. Donna's here. Pedro's here. And right after today, we're going to do a Sebastian Rogers live stream next. Thank you so much, Brother Mike, for the super sticker. I am putting that toward the computer fund. Thank you so much. Thank you to 6 Cents Amelia for the super sticker. And this is in New Zealand. I don't think I've ever gotten New Zealand before. So is it New Zealand dollars? Is it like Canada where they still call dollars, or do they use a different word? I'm just curious. I want to make sure I'm saying it right. And thank you to Njaz for the gifted reporter room membership. Njaz has been giving away a lot of channel memberships, and we are having a members only live stream today, right after the Sebastian Rogers. We're going to be doing a Q&A. So anyway, thank you so much, Njaz. That is so generous of you. Let me know who you are if you got that channel member. Yeah, please subscribe. Subscribing is completely free, so please consider subscribing. Thank you for modding today, Pepper. Thank you for modding today, Leslie. All right, let's see. Bring your questions. Long Island Hillbilly says he was very tech savvy. Yeah, he was supposed to teach law enforcement. He was going to teach law enforcement how to track criminals using technology. He applied to the Pullman Police Department. So yeah, he was very tech savvy. Digital evidence is going to be huge. I agree with you, Mike. And I think this is why Ann Taylor needed extra time to go through it. I think that it's going to be massive in this. I think geofencing is going to play one of the biggest roles we've ever had play in a case, because I think what law enforcement, Cy Ray is going to come in and he's going to poke holes in the prosecution's cell phone tower pings and show that that's not 100%. So what I think law enforcement is working on doing, and we'll see if they're successful, is one, they're going to want to do geofencing. They're going to want to see if Kaylee's Bluetooth was offering Bryan Kohberger's cell phone a handshake when he was he's innocent until proven guilty, but we believe that the perpetrator was sitting behind the 1122 King Road house, looking into the house, but also I believe could have been using blue snarfing to actually hack. It would be very easy to do for somebody who's technology savvy, hack into that house's stuff. So whether he was or wasn't using blue snarfing, the perpetrator was Kaylee's Bluetooth offering a handshake. Because whether you accept or don't accept that handshake, the servers on your device and on their device. And what I'm talking about is if you go into a coffee shop, they offer you to use the Wi-Fi, whether you agree to use their Wi-Fi or do not. Your server on your cell phone and your server on the computer that's offering you at the coffee shop records what they call a handshake, and that's geofencing. So combine that with the Snapchat Snap Map warrants, And I showed you how Snap Map can be used to look where people are and track them. Line that up with the Strava. Strava's a fitness app that Bryan Kohberger had on his cell phone that, again, it's more precise than GPS because it shows you everywhere that you're walking or biking or driving because it's a cell phone app. So it's a fitness app. And then consider what we just talked about, which is the oh my gosh, I got to make sure I'm saying this right because this is like an app I'm like I found out about it and then I had to look up what it was. I didn't know what Yik Yak was. So then you look at the Yik Yak app, and that one, you have to be within 5 miles of whoever you're talking to. So if they can repeatedly show that he was, close to this 1122 King Road house or interacting with any of the victims, especially Maddie Mogan, and she was named specifically in a couple of some of the paperwork. So I think they are thinking that maybe she was the victim, or the target. Obviously, we have 4 victims, but she was the intended target. So if they can line up that Yik Yak app with the phone pings or with any of his phone pings, then that's going to give the jury a much bigger picture of where he was. And this is why I do believe that Ann Taylor did have to put Bryan Kohberger in the car. And the prosecution, whoo, they are coming in hot. They don't want the fact that he's autistic to come in. They don't want any other potential suspects that could have done this to be allowed in. They don't want Ann Taylor to be able to present like an alternative suspect to this crime. It doesn't mean the judge is going to grant this, but they are asking for a lot. They want so no other potential suspects. They don't want that. They don't want his autism diagnosis to be let in. So they are like really, really coming in on this. Now, Ann Taylor is also coming in hot. She says she wants the autism to come in and she wants capital punishment to be taken off the table. And she's saying she does not want the prosecution to refer to Bryan Kohberger as either a sociopath or a psychopath. So she doesn't want either of those two. Now, we don't get to decide this, and Taylor doesn't get to decide this, and Bill Thompson doesn't get to decide this. This will be decided by the judge in this case. So this is why, we're going to have breaking news on this case, all coming up. So Zara said, I think a lot will come out during her. Oh, yeah. We haven't seen anything. We haven't seen anything yet. Sixth Sense Amelia says, definitely using geofencing and geotracking. I agree. I think geofencing and geotracking, this is why we have these how many is it? Like 51, 52 terabytes. My computer, just to like give you guys how much is terabytes. My computer is probably a half a terabyte. And I do use an external hard drive to like back up all my videos. So I don't store them on my computer. But gee whiz, that is a massive, that's a half just for my whole computer, all the editing software, all that I have on this. That is huge. And then you consider that's just a half a terabyte. And Ann Taylor and Bill Thompson, she was like saying the prosecution hasn't turned over this and that. I'm like, well, they're only a couple of weeks ahead of you, Ann Taylor. And, this is why we had these delays. There was so much evidence to go through. So now we're getting all these motions because the prosecution only wants things that benefit the prosecution to come in. The defense only wants things that benefit the defense to come in. And the judge is going to decide what's allowed in and what's not. This is why we have a judge, so things can. So buckle up, guys. We're going to have a really interesting next few months. And jury selection starts July 30th. Yeah, please give this a thumbs up on your way in. Long Island Hillary says, I'm against the capital punishment. I'm watching my words. I haven't had any family members. I'm glad you haven't. I hope most people haven't. Lisa Humber said, I'm neutral on DP, but it sure is a great bargaining chip for the prosecution. And yeah, and I can really see Ann Taylor, boy, she is working so hard to keep this out. She She does not want this to be on the table. She does not want DP to be on the table. Now, Steve Goncalves was really strong in his feelings about it, and he just said, if this isn't a case for capital punishment, I don't know what is. I mean, if you think about it from a parent's point of view, these victims were in their own house. They weren't out antagonizing anybody. They were in their own house. They were in their own rooms. They weren't bothering anybody, and somebody broke in and did this. Hey, Jackson, Jack's Minami. How do I say it? Jackson me name. Jack's me name. I get it now. Okay. PR could have been law enforcement too. I don't think law enforcement. I mean, I think if somebody did that, whew, they would get fired because those weren't. So maybe it could have been. You're right. It could have been. I shouldn't say that. But if it was, I don't think that person would currently be law enforcement. Let me just say it that way. I'm glad you're here, Jackson. Jack's my name. Okay. Let me see if we have any other questions. Veronica says, you would think that Facebook would get his IP address. Well, there is a warrant. There was a warrant pulled for Facebook. If you want me to go through that one next, let me know in the comment section below. Mike says he was in Washington November 30th until mid-December. Yeah, he and his dad took that road trip out to Albrightsville, Pennsylvania for the holidays. Mike says trial may tell us if he was any of these accounts. Well, he did have a Yik Yak account. That I can say for sure. That's why I wanted to show you guys that affidavit at the beginning. He did have one. It says in there he has it. Observed National Evolution says, I wonder how many SKs there are part of law enforcement as well, higher up FBI. Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's possible. I would think, I don't know. But I don't think it's likely. I mean, BK wanted to work for the Pullman Police Department and he didn't get hired. And to me, it's one of two things, because he was certainly qualified. Either A, they did a psychological test for all, everybody who's entering to work with the police department, and he did not pass it. Or B, they could see the fact that he had this record from stealing his sister's cell phone and having medication issues. I'm watching my words here. And that came up. So I don't know. Those records were supposed to be sealed, but it doesn't mean law enforcement could not look. Hey, Dabs. All right. Long Island Hillbilly says Papa Rogers fits other Kohberger online patterns. It does. And the other thing that was just really striking was, remember, nobody knew Bryan Kohberger's name even when this Papa Roger was. And if you look at like the pictures of Papa Roger, let me see if I can pull up a big one for you. Let me grab it. Let me pull it up. Hold on one second. Let me while I look this up, let me just put that on. So if anybody comes by, they know what we're working on. Let me pull up a picture of Papa Roger just to show you. And then online looking was originally a masked guy holding a flashlight. So, woo. So that's not creepy. Okay, let me make sure I'm not in the way. Okay, so you can see, this is how, if you were picking an avatar, now this is not Bryan Kohberger in this picture. This is actually a soldier. It's a Russian soldier. But if you were picking an avatar, and this is another reason why people think that this is Bryan Kohberger, that if he was picking his own avatar, boy, this does look similar. Not the right age. The hair's too gray. But if you were trying to pick an avatar that looked like yourself, that would be it. And so why is Papa Roger so relevant? Let's talk about that. Okay, so let me pull this up for you guys, and then we're gonna. Okay, so make sure we're all looking at the same thing. Let me move myself out of the way. Okay. I had to go out and come back in. You guys, I had to go out and come back in. I'm like, I've just about had it with the streaming platform. I'm paying $45 a month, and it's not reliable. Okay, so let's grab this. Okay. I just wanted to move myself out of the way, and then I was notified that you guys could not see me. Let me pull myself up here. Okay, so let's talk about this. We're going to finish up with Papa Roger, and then we're going to dig into that WSU lab and the fact that it had access to not one, not two, but 5 different law enforcements. Was somebody using this to select victims? And we're also going to talk about the TikTok and why that's relevant. So this is heavy.com. And there's like multiple TikTok videos devoted to the, whether or not Papa Roger is Bryan Kohberger, because the picture that was used for the avatar is just so similar. So this was before this avatar was picked, and this was being used before we ever knew Bryan Kohberger's name. So is this the same person? And then the Papa Roger and the Inside Looking accounts both came down right after he was arrested. So I think that's another interesting thing. But he was getting into fights with people on Facebook. That's why he was removed out of the group. And then this is like, so the largest online Facebook sleuth group dedicated to solving this crime has around 152,000 members. And hold on, let me grab it. You guys see this? Am I blocking you? No. Okay. And then you could see the Tapatalk and then the yearbook photos, how close those were. And the Tapatalk are where he was talking about his visual snow. All right, so let's keep going. So I want to talk about the TikTok warrant, why it's so important. And then we're going to dig into the WSU lab. Was somebody using this lab to select future victims? Why are they letting this lab? I mean, this lab was on the same floor where Bryan Kohberger worked in the criminology department. So let's talk about TikTok first, then we're going to dig into that. So TikTok, why did law enforcement seek out a TikTok? Why did they get a warrant for TikTok? Well, TikTok could also pinpoint a user's location. Again, I think they're trying everything they can to establish if he was in the vicinity of the crime scene or in the vicinity of any of the victims leading up to the crimes. So they're going to look also at who BK would have interacted with on TikTok. We know that some of the girls did upload videos regularly to TikTok. So was he following them under a name that maybe we don't know about yet? Again, he's innocent until proven guilty. I do have to talk about this case in terms of him, though, because he's the one that's on trial. But in terms of potential connections to the victims or the area, it could reveal possible motives or suspicious associations. And the prosecution, they're looking for connections. They're going to look to see, was he following any of them on Instagram? We've heard from Dateline NBC and also from the Goncalves that he was following some of the girls on Instagram. We've heard he was at the Mad Greek. We know Kaylee used to be employed at the Mad Greek. She wasn't employed there at the time, but we know that Xana and Maddie were both employed at the Mad Greek. So the content analysis that they're going to use for TikTok is going to be, one, the type of content Bryan Kohberger liked, posted, or commented on. Will this provide insights into his interests, his obsessions, or even potential tendencies? Was he using any alternative accounts to interact with any of the victims? Was he looking at their videos or photographs trying to determine where they were? Law enforcement is also going to look at the timelines. By analyzing the timestamps of BK's TikTok activity, law enforcement could potentially build a more detailed timeline of his movements around the time of November 13th of 2022. Now, according to the PCA, We also know, and this is why I think TikTok is relevant also, Xana was on TikTok right in the minutes she was done away with. And this is what I believe is maybe the real reason that law enforcement got a warrant for TikTok. However, in my opinion, that could also be that they're trying to present. I think they would use TikTok to help present an accurate timeline of the crimes, along with the DoorDash driver and testimony from that. So on the live stream we did on Friday, I talked to you guys about Snapchat and Snap Map, and this would have revealed victims' locations when they were uploading pictures of themselves, even though the pictures disappear on Snapchat. On Snap Map, unless you opt out of it, you can see people's locations. So let's talk about the WSU lab. And then I want to give you guys the full list of warrant recipients and what I think law enforcement is looking for. So we'll do that next, but let's dive into this WSU. So let me grab that next. Okay. Let me move myself. Let me see if I can make myself smaller here. I think I'm still going to be, even if I do that, let me cancel that. I think I'm still going to be in the way. Let me move myself over this side. And okay, now I'm not in the way. Okay, sorry about that. So we're going to go through this next. And let me see. I'm like behind on chat. Let me just check in with chat really quick. Come on up and talk to me. Tell me your comments. Thank you, Kaylee, for gifting a reporter room membership. Thank you so much. And if you got a membership, please let me know who you are. Please tell Kaylee thank you, but let me know who you are too so I can welcome you. Okay, let's see where we're at. Donna says, I'm totally old school and I'm for DP. Hey, Elbows Mom, I'm glad you're here. No worries. Okay. Drop me your comments, guys. Tell me where you're from. Leslie's Keeping It Real says, I'm swishy-washy on DP. I think for me, it depends on the crime. As for BK, I believe it's a must. Tammy says, I love this judge so far. My grandson is autistic. He's very intelligent. He should know right from wrong considering the courses he was taking. He also helped in teaching. Yeah, and for those of you that don't know, I did say this during the last live stream, is people with autism are no more likely to commit a crime like this than neurotypical people. I just want to make that abundantly clear. So here's my feeling about what the judge is going to decide on the autism. He may let it in. That I don't know. But do I think he's going to take capital punishment off the table because of it? No, I do not think that is going to be a decision that this particular judge is going to make. And I just want to share with you my thinking on that. I think he will allow it to stand. And I think it's because even if he is autistic, he is so high functioning that he, graduated, he had a master's degree and he's in a PhD program. He was applying to work at the Pullman Police Department. So he was high, and he was working as a teaching assistant at Washington State University. So he was high functioning. So I think unless you have an IQ that's like below 70, where you are clearly maybe you're schizophrenic, where you're hearing, command hallucinations or something like that. I think short of that, just given what we saw in the Lori Vallow case, Lori Vallow Daybell, where we know she was, they couldn't get the trial underway on time. They had to delay the trial because she was, cray cray. So I think, but got her, I don't know if they put her on meds or put her in counseling, whatever. They got her mental health together. She still went on trial. So I don't think he's going to take it off the table. I could be wrong. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think that the judge is going to remove capital punishment from a potential penalty by the jury because of BK's autism? Now, I can't confirm he's autistic. I'm just going by what Ann Taylor says. Brother Mike says he loves the judge too. It's me. Mike says, she's a court employee. I think she will try what she can up to the point of the trial because he can complain if she doesn't. Well, I think Ann Taylor is doing a great job of representing Bryan Kohberger. I do think she's a really good one. Thank you so much for modding. Hey, Jacqueline, glad you're here. Let's see. Yeah, please, you're welcome to join our Facebook group. We talk all kinds of true crime. We talk about JonBenet Ramsey. We talk about Summer Wells. We talk about Sebastian Rogers. We talk about the Idaho 4 case. We talk about all the different cases in there. The Delphi case. So if you type in reporter room and Idaho 4, it should come up. Yeah, please give this a thumbs up and help us out with the YouTube algorithm. Truth Exposed says he's just strange looking. Mike says, yeah, it's hard to say at this point. I think he's willing to try anything. And Taylor tries, I think their next step will be to ask for mercy for a confession. I think that they may have already done that. And I think that's why his mental and physical health records were released a while ago. Welcome, Jen. I'm glad you're here. Welcome for being a channel member. And we're going to do a channel members only live stream after the Sebastian Rogers live stream today. Leslie Keep It Real says 258 in the room, only 114 thumbs up. Can we do a little bit better? Thanks for that. All right, so let's go into the next part. We have a lot to get through, and I do have another live stream after this one, and then we're going to do the members only. So we talked about the TikTok. We talked a little bit about the Reddit posts, and I think that the warrant for Reddit, I'm going to go through all the warrants because there's a big long list. And let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to go into. But I want to talk about this lab. And let's dig into that. I want to talk about this lab first. Did he have access to law enforcement body cam footage prior to the November 13th of 2022 crimes? So let's talk about that. Let me make sure we're all looking at the same thing. Okay. So this article is my sourcing on this is the U.S. Sun, and they're saying was the wolf in the hen house. So an insider at WSU at Washington State University told Fox Digital that Bryan Kohberger's former doctoral program grants access to a crime lab. Now, this crime lab is on the same floor as the criminology department. So Bryan Kohberger would have been on the same floor with this lab. Did he have access to it? I don't know. I think he would have had to have stolen somebody's ID. And so I don't know. Maybe he was given access. I really don't know. But it says that this program grants access to a crime lab database of police body cam videos and live streams from security cameras, both on the WSU campus and off the WSU campus. Over 5 police departments share body cam footage with the Complex Social Interaction, it's called CSI, lab database, according to the Fox's source. Pullman Police Department is included on this list. Pullman is the town where WSU is located. It's also a 15-minute drive from the 1122 King Road house. I'm watching my words. However, the Moscow Police Department confirmed with Fox that they did not hand over any footage to the CSI lab. Moscow police have several body and dash cam videos of the victims on at least 3 house visits that were conducted before these crimes, according to public record. To gain access to the CSI labs, the students have to apply online by filling out a brief questionnaire. So that's all you needed to get access, was to just apply online with a brief questionnaire. Now, the university is claiming that Bryan Kohberger never had access to the lab. This is according to Phil Wheeler, WSU's vice president of marketing and communications. But I have to tell you, and I'm not saying he did or he didn't, but even if he did, do you really think their marketing and communications guy is going to admit that he did? But that's just, let me know if you think that, if you believe that this marketing and communications guy would tell us the truth if Bryan Kohberger did have access to this lab or not. Because he's also claiming it's strictly controlled, but you're going to find out that's not really true either. So this is their marketing and communications guy, Wheeler, told Fox, to be clear, Bryan Kohberger never had access to any footage from so that's not access to the lab. That's access to any footage from the Complex Social Interaction Lab at the Washington State University. Access to that facility is strictly controlled. But we just heard all you have to do is fill out an online application to get it. He added, all research assistants must complete a background check and an FBI Criminal Justice Information Services Level 2 certification to be fingerprinted by the FBI and sign a confidential agreement in order to enter the facility. Again, this facility is just a lab, it's just a room on the same floor with all the other criminology classes. Key card records show can also track access to the lab. This is according to Wheeler. However, so here's the pushback on this. I'm curious what you guys think. Do you think that Wheeler is telling you the truth? Yes or no? Is the owner of the Mad Greek telling us the truth when she said, you know, she was trying to distance herself from this whole thing? However, Fox's insider, this is the whistleblower, claimed to have direct knowledge of, quote, multiple individuals who have not gone through the vetting or training to enter the facility and work as part of their duties. And remember, Bryan Kohberger was a teaching assistant at this university. And he said, it, quote, including our technical support staff. According to the WSU website, the lab aims to, in part, quote, use software to analyze police footage and, quote, give results and guidance to better police departments, end quote, while providing, quote, hands-on experience in complex social interactions for WSU students. So just imagine if you were a creeper and all you have to do is fill out a form and get access to 5 different police departments' body cam. You could call in your own noise complaint on somebody that you wanted to stalk or surveil or watch, and then watch it all unfold on body cam footage. I mean, this is creepy on a number of different levels, because in a university setting, these people are young. They're not really old enough to have, like a big criminal record yet. They might just be 18 years old, 19 years old, and in this criminology program. They haven't had time to get into the system yet, but they're going to have access to police body cam footage. I think this is really creepy. However, the insider does not think, quote, any amount of positive research that has come out of this department is worth the risks of letting a wolf in the henhouse. I agree. Let me know if you disagree or if you agree. So let's continue on. Strange behavior. Bryan Kohberger was allegedly fired from being his professor's assistant in the time period where he allegedly did away with Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, and Xana. I'm watching my words. University of records obtained by the New York Times have revealed. While BK was terminated from his teaching assistant position after the slayings, it was due to allegedly troubling behavior in the weeks around the crimes. So, would the university admit it? I mean, the Idaho State University tore down the house at 1122 King Road Drive as quick as they could. And I think that was just, protect themselves from the publicity. So do I think that WSU is? I'm not, I could be wrong, but I'm suspicious. Less than 2 weeks before the slayings, BK had a meeting with faculty members at WSU on their growing concerns about his alleged behavior. Faculty were allegedly told that some female students reported that BK made them feel uncomfortable. This is according to the New York Times. In one instance, BK allegedly followed a female student to her car, according to 2 people familiar with the situation who spoke with her. So your teaching assistant or teacher should not be following you out to your car and creeping you out. In one instance, BK allegedly followed a female student to her car. However, this alleged behavior, and remember, I told you on the last live stream, the one I did on Friday, that he got kicked out of high school for having problems with female students. So this goes back to high school days, and he had to end up finishing high school online at home. However, this alleged behavior wasn't what got BK fired, as the university's investigation did not find Kohberger guilty of any wrongdoing in these complaints. Bryan Kohberger's teaching assistant position was taken away because of his allegedly unsatisfactory performance, which included his failure to meet the, quote, norms of professional behavior in his interaction with faculty, according to 2 sources. So we know on September 27th, BK allegedly had an altercation with his professor, and that was John Snyder, according to his termination letter that the outlet received. And then the faculty made their decision to fire BK at the end of the year meeting in December. So was this before he was arrested, or did they fire him after he was arrested? I'm just curious, like when this all came about. Let's continue on, because then the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to go through all of the warrants and how I think these could apply. Let me just check in with chat, though. I don't want to be unsocial. This is social media. I do want this to be interactive. So come on up and talk to me if you want to talk to me. I would love to talk to you. Mike says, yeah, I think autism claim is to save his life because they can't do a DP of mentally challenged, I guess. I doubt it will work. He's not even diagnosed. Well, we don't know if he's diagnosed or not. I just want to be really clear about that. He could. And I agree. I don't think it's going to work. I just have a different reason on why, but I agree with that. He said he's not even diagnosed that I know of. How can they claim it yet? I think, it's possible that he was diagnosed. So I'm not going to say, I don't know if he was or wasn't. I don't want to say that he wasn't. But I think it's going to be denied because, again, he's high functioning. And just because if you think about somebody that's, these people that are in jail, they all have other diagnoses, from oppositional defiance disorder, maybe as a kid, to obsessive compulsive disorder, to autism, to attention deficit disorder, to anxiety. But I think that to be like, not to be able to get out of a capital punishment in the state of Idaho, which seems really strict about, what you need to get out of it. I think that, what we've learned is that to get out of it, you really do need to have, either completely, like schizophrenia, where you are, completely are hallucinating and getting command hallucinations, or you're severely mentally challenged, right? Because people with autism know the difference between right and wrong. And if he did do this crime, I'm not saying he did, because he's innocent until proven guilty, but if he did do this crime, I mean, he knew you know, to clean his car meticulously. He reportedly had a monkey suit that he was taking off at the sliding glass doors. Bethany, according to what the judge said, saw the perpetrator dropping something into the bags. I think he would have dextered out the car in plastic. We do see plastic being listed as one of the things that was collected at the affidavit. So was this the end of a roll? Is there more? So I do think that he did show that he has the presence of mind to know right from wrong. And I think that would be the standard, in my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Yeah, please subscribe. It's free and it helps me out a lot. Tammy said, I joined the Facebook group. I don't think the judge will take DP off the table. I hope they will not let him train a rescue animal, considering the crimes he has committed. Well, allegedly committed. Thank you for that, Tammy. Mike said, I'm hoping for 10 years or so max. Lisa says, does anyone think he's scared? I sure hope he is, but I doubt it. Well, if he is sociopathic, and again, we don't know, then he wouldn't feel a lot of fear, right? Being sociopathic has to be like the most freeing diagnosis ever, because you don't feel afraid. You don't feel anxiety. At least not in the way that you and I feel it. You might feel, wanting to be meticulous about not getting caught, but they don't generally have empathy or feel concern for other people. Thank you so much, Njaz, for the 10 pounds super sticker. Thank you so much. I really am grateful. I appreciate it so much. And then we have gifted memberships from Njaz and Kami. So if you got this one, and also I missed this, I'm so sorry. Long Island Hillbilly, thank you so much for the $9.99 the super sticker. Thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate it. This is really nice of you guys. I do spend a lot of time before I go live, like looking up things, and going into stuff. So I do really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thank you so much. If you got a gifted membership from Kami or Njaz, please let me know so I can welcome you, but also let them know too, so that that you appreciate it. And we're going to do a members only right after this. Jen says, This is fact, folks. At the bottom of the New York Times, it mentions an Arkansas woman, literally me. I'm so glad the focus is back on this. 2/9 was his second altercation. That's the last day of school. Let me see. Thank you for sharing that. Wow. Mike says, I think he lived his fantasy, scared or not. I think he feels like he lived his dream. And Jess says, I do too, Lisa. So sad for all the victims. Jen says 923 is the first altercation. Right. And this is where I think the day that Buddy the dog disappeared. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, let me pull this up. Around October 21st, Bryan Kohberger had this altercation with his professors. I'm going to go through all the warrants in just a second. But let's just do Buddy really quick. I'm just waiting for it to populate. I'm going to watch my words here because I know this particularly bothers people. Yeah, unnamed sources. Well, it's a whistleblower, so you can't blame them. They don't want to lose their job at WSU, so they're being careful. So, Truth Exposed, I feel sorry for his family too. Problem is, we care about his family's feelings more than he does, or he wouldn't have done it. And Penjim says, it seems like his behavior was steadily getting worse right up into the 1122 date, the November 13th date. Yeah, so New York Post. Oh, they don't want to let me. I have to allow the ads. I don't know. I'm not going to go do a whole ad blocker. Rupert Murdoch makes plenty of money. I'm not sure why I can't. I don't know if any of these are going to let me share it. I'm going to try this one. So this happened on October the 21st. Okay, I'm just waiting for this to populate. This happened on October 21st. So this dog, this was just a few blocks from where the crime's committed. And October 21st, Bryan Kohberger was told by his professor that he was failing to meet their expectations. So this is the article. My sourcing on this is CBS, but it was also reported on Fox News and on the New York Post. But okay, so here it is. Okay, so a couple first spoke to the Daily Mail. This is an article about the Idaho students. Okay, that's the iconic picture that Kaylee posted just hours before she was done away with. The couple spoke to the Daily Mail and said their dog was named Buddy, and he was filleted just 3 miles away from the 1122 King Road house on the October 21st. This is the same date that BK was told that he was failing to meet their expectations. So was he enraged, or is this just completely just a complete coincidence? Because this dog was taken out of his own yard. KHQ TV reporter reported that the Latah County deputies told the couple that a person had done away with their dog. But they don't believe. Latah County Captain Shane Anderson said Monday he does not believe there's a connection to the Idaho students. So they're not going to bring it into the trial. I just think it's interesting that this all happened around this time. And, maybe it's relevant, maybe it's not. Let's go through the warrants. Okay. Jen says, 12/9, we met to inform you of your term for the spring semester as a teaching assistant. Not sure if they actually fired him via Zoom or what, just that his paperwork said that. Effective 12/31. And that's really interesting. Mike says they never mentioned autism till now. Well, he has a HIPAA right. Under HIPAA, he has a right to private. And the prosecution agreed. They agreed not to let and I don't know if they knew what his personal medical diagnoses is, but Ann Taylor's the one that released it. First, she released it to the prosecution only. And this is where I do think, and I told you at the time, I thought that there was a plea deal that was negotiated at that time. I don't think it worked. Because then we get this filing, and it does feel like we have this gag order to protect his right to to a fair trial. But it does feel kind of, I don't know, icky in my opinion that, she keeps putting this stuff out there. She didn't have to put autism in the title where we could all see it. And I showed you guys the receipts on this on Friday. If you want to look at her actual motion, she didn't have to put, what don't want the capital punishment due to the fact that he has autism. She didn't have to put that. She could have just said mental health issues or due to, whatever. But that's what she titled it. And I think, Ann Taylor is trying, she only has to get one juror. And I think she's very smartly, very cleverly getting around the gag order and getting her information out there through these motions. She's talking to us. Truth Exposed says, well, you have to be low IQ as well as to qualify for any slack being cut in your sentence. And Jen says 10-3 WSU meeting at the same day as the Colberts. Oh, so 10-3 Washington State meeting and the same day as the Colberts found a deskulled rabbit. And then the October 21st email from Schneider is the same day that they found their dog done away with. Lisa said, I agree he will be denied. So glad that it's this particular judge. Leslie says, I believe the defense is grasping at everything they can. All right, so let me grab this really quick. I'm going to go through all the warrants. Hang on one second. Let me pull this up for you. All right. Let's go through the warrants. And we're going to go into Sebastian Rogers' live stream right after this. Okay, so the warrants include Amazon, and this is alphabetical, American Express, Apple. We talked about Amazon, and we talked about, I believe that's where the knife sheath was purchased. American Express, I haven't talked about that one. Apple. Let me know if you want me to look into some of these for you guys. The 3 warrants to AT&T we talked about. Bank of America we've talked about. We haven't talked about Banner Bank. We've talked about Block Inc., which is the Square company. We talked about Blue Ridge Knives in Marion, Virginia. If you haven't watched my other live streams on this case for last month, definitely go through them because I've gone through a lot of these warrants. We went through the Coeur d'Alene Police Lab forensics one. We went through the Charter Communications already. I have not done the Elan Financial Service or the Idaho, the Idaho Department of Labor. I haven't gone through that one. The Numerica Credit Union, I haven't done that. Or the Umpqua Bank. I did do Washington State University kind of today, what I feel like on that. But I don't know exactly what they're looking for. DoorDash we did do. Google, I touched on it, but I didn't dig in. I didn't do Inland Cellular. I didn't do Match.com with Plenty of Fish, OkCupid, all of those. And I haven't really done Facebook Meta at all. I did do the Moscow Police Department Lab. And I did do, we touched on Reddit. I did Snapchat. I did a deep dive on that on Friday. I haven't done Walmart. I did Yik Yak today. I haven't done Yahoo, Walmart, or the 2 warrants to Verizon. I haven't done UPS. And I touched on Reddit. I haven't deep dived into it. So there's still a lot I could go through. Let me know if you want me to go through more of these warrants and try to see what they line up to, you guys. And I will do that. Welcome Lead with Love, who is a new channel member. I'm so glad that you are a channel member. Welcome to the Reporter Room family. I'm so glad you guys are all here with me today. Thank you for joining me. Okay, so guys, I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm going over to do a Sebastian Rogers next. And I just do want to say thank you to our producers, and Jazz, Sasha Angel, Mikey M, George Brown, and Pepper. Thank you to our channel members. And if you would like to become a channel member, subscribing is free. Channel member is a couple dollars. You'll have a check mark next to your name. It'll be either red, blue, or green, depending on how long you're a channel member. And then you'll get to do our members only live stream, which we're having today after the Sebastian Rogers live stream. And then also thank you for your super thanks and coffee gratitude. Thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate all of you. I'm very, very grateful. And thank you for your gifted channel memberships, and Jazz and Pepper. And of course, we will be adding Kaylee to that list also. Okay, guys, I'm heading over to Sebastian Rogers right now. So just follow me over there and I will. So thank you so much for coming by to spend a little time with me, and come follow me over to the Sebastian Rogers. We're going to do that next. And then we're going to do a members only live stream.